Hello. This video is for those of you who are trying to add an open concept to your house floor design. Again, to create an open concept, it is not required, but this is for those of you who would like to open up some rooms so you have a little bit more of spacing going on and a little bit more of a modern feel for your house. To create an open concept, it's going to be similar to what we did for a door opening with some minor changes that we're going to have to do. So where I'm going to focus is going to be this area right here. I have my kitchen, my living room, and my dining room. I'm going to want to open that up. Everything that I show you for this aspect is going to be able to be applied throughout the entire house. So wherever you want rooms to be open, this is what you're going to do for that to accomplish that. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to focus on this part of the wall right here because I want to have this area opened. What I'm going to do is zoom in. And first thing I want to notice is I don't have my lines drawn right here. That's the lines that are going to separate the rooms. As you can see that these lines right here have been left. And right here, I forgot to put those or forgot to leave those in. So I'm going to make those again, just so it's easier for me to use. So I'm going to do that by selecting the line tool. I'm going to go over to this point here. And first thing I'm going to do is draw and extend these lines. So you can see it, I'm just making little lines. The reason for that is because now it's going to give me a point that I can click on and drag down across my room or across my wall to draw the line that I'm going to need as my reference point. So right there, that's going to be my wall divider. So if you look at this, you can see this wall is going to divide these two rooms. So I no longer need these little lines that I drew up here. So I'm going to erase those just so this is going to make it a little bit easier for me. Next step, I'm going to focus on one room at a time. So I'm going to open up this wall right here. To do that, I'm going to grab my tape measure. I'm going to hit the letter T on my keyboard, work over to the left-hand toolbar, select my tape measure. Just like I've done for the windows and doorways, I'm going to click on my top line here, drag it down. But for this one, I'm only going to type in 0.5 apostrophe. So that's going to give me half a foot area. So right there, that drop down is half a foot. What I'm going to do from this point, I'm going to select my line tool again, and I'm going to move this so I can get a better look at this area over here because I'm going to draw a line that follows along with that ruler mark. So right there, that's my line that I drew. So it used to be a dash line as my guideline. I traced that, so I now have a space right there. Next step, what I want to do is I'm going to select my push pull. So I'm going to hit the letter P. I'm going to click on my wall. I'm going to push inside. This time I'm going to type the number 6, enter, and then that is going to clear up that opening for me right there. So essentially, this room has just been opened. Again, I'm going to do the same process over here. I already have my guideline set. So I'm going to hit the letter L. I'm going to click on this point here, drag it across, click on the other point. You can see it's now a solid line rather than a dash guideline. Select the letter P for push pull, click on my wall, and push it inward. I'm going to then type in the number 6, enter, and then that removes that wall for me. So as you can see, I'm slowly starting to open up these walls. I do have this beam across, but that's going to be where my support beam would be. So if we had our normal housing area, you wouldn't see that. That would technically be up into the roof. But because we don't have a roof, we're going to be able to see that. But it does show us that they are defined rooms right here, which is good. So next part, I'm going to come over to this side, and I'm going to do the same process for this wall right here. I'm going to grab my tape measure, go to this top line. I'm going to go down, type in 0.5 apostrophe, or you can essentially type in 6 because 6 is 6 inches. That's what half a foot is. So I'm going to type that in, hit enter, gives my guideline. Next, trace over that line, go from end to end. I now have my solid line. Select my push pull, click on the wall, push it inward, number 6, enter, and then that opens up that area. So right now I have an open concept of my living room, dining room, and my kitchen. I have a bar right here. I don't like it. So what I'm going to do, I am going to get rid of that. In order to do that, I'm going to first, let's actually get up here and clean this off. Actually, I want to connect this, sorry. So I want to make sure that that dash line is a solid line right there. And what that's going to do, that's going to allow me to select this area. So with my cursor, I'm creating spacebar, click on that area, hit backspace, and that deletes that post. Click on that, deletes that post, that deletes that post, that, oops, that deletes that post. Now all I have are my framework here that I'm just going to hit my eraser button. So hit the letter E, and I'm going to erase those lines for me. So as you can see right now, my area is open, but my walls left these marks. So what I'm going to do is just erase those marks, get rid of all of that, make it clean. And now I have an open concept. What I'm going to do is make sure I have this cleaned up. I no longer need that line, that line. Let's circle around. Everything over here looks good. Don't need that anymore. So I'm going to delete this line. And there we go. There is my open concept. Oh, one got away from me right over here. There we go. So right there, that is my open concept. So you can see that I still have my walls or my room sectioned off by my beams up here. As it would be a house, there's no sight line, so everything's open. So I have my open kitchen, open dining room, opened up into my living room. So I would go through and repeat the process throughout here. So I would open up my hallway or my entryway right here for my hallway. Again, grab my line tool, trace over these guidelines that I have. The letter P for my push-pull, click on that, go in, type the number 6, enter, and then that opens up my hallway. One more thing that I would like to show you is, since my hallway, I do want it separated from my dining room here, but I don't necessarily need to have it as a full wall. I could do a half wall. So what a half wall would be about 3 feet. So what I'm going to do is take my tape measure tool, click on this edge up here, go up, type in 3 apostrophe, enter. So that's going to give me a half wall. Go up from the top here, go down 6, enter, or by 6 inches. That opens up this whole area for me. What I'm going to do next is connect these lines. So I'm going to have to zoom in a little bit. Actually, this one didn't draw where I wanted it to. So let me try that again with the tape measure tool. Click on my top line, draw it down. There we go. 6, enter. And now I'll be able to follow that line across. So I'm going to select this point, go all the way to this line. There we go. Select this point, go all the way to this line here. Hit my push pull, click on this, go in 6, enter. And then you can see right there, I think that wall was a little bit under 6 inches. So I'm going to click on this, delete that, and that opens that up for me. So again, I have my areas here, but I don't want this post to be there. You can keep it there. It could add a little bit more of a separation for you, but if you would want to delete it, you would just have to draw your lines there. I kind of like the way it looks. It looks a little bit funky for me, but if you would want to delete it, again, you're just going to draw your line here, draw that across, and then you'll be able to delete this post here by selecting your tool and deleting these things, which would then end up opening this up for you. So that is how you're going to create an open space, but I like mine there, so that looks good for me. So you can do a half wall if you would like to have a half wall that separates rooms like this, or you can do a fully open concept. After I have that applied, I would make sure that I hit my save button, and then I would go throughout and make sure that I do that to all my rooms throughout my house that I would like to have an open concept. So right here, I would open up this hallway, and that's about it for my house, but your house design may have an entirely different plan and have an entirely different system of open concept. So just make sure that you save it, and then that concludes how to make an open concept for your house.